coming soon to this theater.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Brian, and we are here this evening for the inaugural launch. Wait, I'm sorry. I don't think that's correct. Inaugural is that the? Hold on, I'm gonna have to add somebody that actually has a clue, and that would be none other than Matt Burke, the creator of Butch Cleaver, the booty whooping horror comic. Wait, now I'm echoing. Is that on your end, Matt, or is that on my end?
I think it's on your end.
Oh, of course it's on my end. Yeah, naturally, of course.
We got J Money in the chat.
We got J Money in the chat. What up, J Money?
Yo,
what up,
J
J
Money.
Dog? Yeah, man. I don't know if you watched the movie that we're covering tonight, but if you haven't, I feel sorry for you, son.
Oh no, I watched it, man. I watched it last night. That way, it's kind of fresh, and actually had a couple of things that reminded me of Butch Cleaver a little bit. The Butch Cleaver 2.
Yeah, it's interesting because I hadn't. Fresh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had seen this years ago, on the USA channel, USA Up All Night. They used to show this a lot.
Oh wow.
In heavy rotation. I never rented it because it didn't look. I was kind of a horror snob when I was younger, when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I wasn't even really much of a gore hound.
Yeah, it kind of grew on me later too.
Yeah. I was a late bloomer in that respect. But fuck, man, later when I saw Evil Dead and the Fulci movies and just all of the really, really, really good primo splatter stuff. That's when I was
yeah,
was
dude,
a revelation for me.
For me, it was in my late teens. That's when I really started getting into the gore and stuff like that. Before that, I was just kind of, I like Supernatural and things like that, like Exorcist, and I liked all the Lon Chaney movies. My dad got me on all the Universal ones, and I mean, there was obviously American Werewolf in London, The Howling. There was some, but I didn't really think either way. I just thought it was cool. But when I got older, I saw Evil Dead and Dead Alive, and realized it was a whole nother genre of horror that's out there, and then there's more genres of horror. So
this opened up Pandora. Different type of horror, a different approach, and just as valid as something that was kind of sort of subtle, The Haunting, or the Universal monster movies, which were at their time considered absolutely horrifying. But now we're actually really kind of quaint and comforting. At least that even the Hammer movies, once they introduced blood.
Oh yeah,
that is big bright red blood, because a lot of people were thinking once color came around, oh fuck, that's the end.
Yeah, the paint.
Horror movie. We can't do horror movies anymore because horror was all about light and shadow.
Yeah.
And Hammer was but we can make the blood red.
Yeah, and it was red.
It was red. I mean, Curse of Frankenstein's a gnarly movie, even by contemporary standards. There's stuff in that makes you go, ooh.
Yeah, Dracula's Risen from the Grave, and what was it? I forgot the other one. Because he did 9 of them, but my dad loved Christopher Lee's Dracula. That was his favorite. So I don't know. Those were that just kind of got me into it. At a young. Actually, I was watching a lot of horror. Now that I'm thinking about it, because Captain Kronos. You know what I mean? That movie was badass. But this movie too, man, I was surprised. Oh, that's what's up. I gotta buy that movie, man. That movie was.
I got that on Blu-ray and DVD and VHS. All right, I got rid of the echo, so I should be. If I seemed confused.
Oh no.
But no, you were saying Captain Chronos Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, man, just like that whole like 70s, and I got into like an argument with a coworker like probably 10 years ago. It was that long ago. We're arguing about 70s and 80s about horror, He's like, and just pop culture. He's like, 80s is way better, and still people will say that. I'm like, 70s is equally as good. There's just it's just not out there as much. It's not as like right in your face with a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of good 70s horror and pop culture shit.
I'm definitely more of a 70s guy than an 80s guy.
Yeah.
And there were some great movies at like the beginning of the 80s. The problem with the 80s is that they started to move too far into comedy.
Yeah.
And if you want to see like the decline of the American horror film, watch the Evil Dead trilogy.
Yeah, right.
First Evil Dead, balls to the walls. It has a sense of humor. It's playful.
It's scariest
but
for sure.
Nasty.
Yeah, it's scary, dude. Yeah, it's wicked. Yeah, it's insidious.
And genuinely like horrifying at
times. It is. It's the scariest one. It still is. It even beats out the remake, I think. And then the second one goes into Splatstick, and the third one goes full like Roger Corman. Adventure.
Yeah. So it's like with Evil Dead 2. I mean, that's like straddling the fence. That's like a horror comedy, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to Army of Darkness, and that's just a comedy.
Yeah, straight up.
It's not a horror film.
There's a couple scary monsters in there, like the one in the pit, and that's kind of it. Yeah, that's kind of it. Maybe a couple witches in there. That's about it. A couple deadite witches.
It starts out okay because that's one of the things I loved about Evil Dead 2 was that completely crazy ending.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And
the medieval.
Yeah, and the fact that the sequel, the third one was gonna pick up and move from that, I was like, oh hell yeah, count me in, right?
Yeah.
Bigger budget and all that stuff. Army of Darkness. Oh shit, there's gonna be an army of Deadites. Fuck
right.
Yeah. And then it's one of those movies. It's like your girlfriend's going to enjoy it a lot more than you are.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's a girlfriend horror movie.
Dude, for me, like that's how young I am. When I was watching Hercules and Xena, and there was a commercial for it, and I was like, "What is that?" I didn't know what Evil Dead was. That's how young I was. I just saw Army of Darkness, the commercial. I was like, and my dad liked Bruce Campbell because he liked Briscoe County Jr. and he liked all the New Zealand Raimi Renaissance movies, But I saw that, and I had to go backwards to find out about Evil Dead, and I had the Crack magazine. Yeah, I had the Crack magazine with it said Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 3. I'm like, this is the third movie. So I had to go backwards and kind of, find out what it was. And then I just loved all of it, and like you could remake Army of Darkness in the vein of the first movie now. It'd make it full on, no comedy, just straight balls to the wall, like evil, horror, wicked, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I avoided the Evil Dead remake. Because that came out during that era of all the whack remakes, the ones that they were remaking just because they were like, well, it made money in the 70s.
Yeah.
It made money in the 80s. Like Michael Bay, who's just a total cynic, was, belting those out.
Yeah.
And Evil Dead was in that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, no, I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, there were a couple of good ones. The Dawn of the Dead remake was genuinely good. The Crazies remake was aight. The Hills Have Eyes remake I actually enjoyed.
Ted Levine.
But I was just like, I would like Evil Dead. I was just like,
yeah. Well, it's just there's no Ash in there, dude. I mean, I don't know. Like I did like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. You know what I mean? But I didn't.
That was okay.
And it's filmed by the same director of photography that filmed the original one. They got him, and I like seeing Lobo play Leatherface. That was pretty cool, And
that was also one of the ones that was okay.
And I liked Friday the 13th. I don't know why. I like to see the survivalist Jason, where he's got he's like Rambo Last Blood. I don't know if you've seen Last Blood, but he's got booby traps all over Crystal Lake, and I just thought it was cool. He was just fast, and so that was cool.
I haven't seen it.
That's my favorite one, and I got a lot. But I mean, I like the old ones too, and I liked Freddy versus Jason. I thought that was badass too.
That was fun.
It was a fun movie. It was a comic book. It was a horror comic, like with action,
Exactly. Yeah. But like the 2013 Evil Dead, I was just like, nah. And then a friend of mine was like, dude, you really need to check that out. And I did check it out. And it's genuinely good.
It's a good horror movie. It's up there with it's like on the vein of the original, right? The OG. Like it's scary, you know.
Genuinely. And
they're making a new one too.
Oh, wait, are they doing another remake?
Another remake. It's called Evil Dead Rise, and it's going to be about a lady with her daughter, and it's going to be in a city, so it's going to be something totally different.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Bruce Campbell's done.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Yeah, he's
Ash forever.
He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's producing the new one because I love the TV show. It's my favorite TV show, like hands down. Like I was cool with maybe like one pilot or something. I would have been like happy, dude. But they made like 30 episodes, and they're all 30-minute monster of the week. So they're just wham, bam, bam, bam. You get in, you get out, and there's no fat really. They just trim it. You know what I mean? And I like that. And they film it all in New Zealand, and it takes place in Dearborn. And it's cool, dude. It's badass. Sam Raimi directs the first episode, and it ends like Evil Dead 2. Where you're like, whoa, they could take it there. So, I mean, the first season's the best. The second one's kind of on par. And was it the $1 Million Man? Was it the $5 Million Man? I forgot the name of that old TV show. That's his dad. $6 Million Man. That's Bruce Campbell's dad.
Lee Majors is up in that piece?
That's his dad, dude.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they got a lot of some of the original cast members to come back from the first movie to play. Like the one that in the very beginning of the first movie that goes down there and gets it. That's his sister. I never knew that in the movie. I never really paid attention, but that's Ash's sister. And
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and they go to the house.
She
comes back, and she still looks the same. Like she, didn't really age that much. It's crazy.
For her. Yeah, you know what? I avoided that too because I was thinking it would just be more like Army of Darkness. It would just be like all goofy. I'll check it out. It's
Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness and a little bit of the video games thrown in. And yeah, for me, I'm a Evil Dead whore, dude. I like all of them. I'll take whatever I can get. Like I like the dark, scary. I like the universe. Yep, I like it all. So
that's cool. I got you. It's all good. But yeah, just based on your recommendation, I'll check it out. And another friend of mine was actually saying like you should check that out. Another one. Oh, and yeah, we will get to Spookies in a second, but oh god, I recently watched, but I think it's also cool if like at the beginning of these maybe we discuss like current horror movies. Like, what did you see this week? What came out?
I saw Malignant. I just saw Malignant. That came out in theaters and it's on HBO Max. So, and I'm I ain't gonna lie, I like James Wan. I like his movies. I like what he does.
I do too.
And when he started out, he was doing a lot of ballsy, like, I'm going to make a death sentence, which was like Death with Kevin Bacon, It was a fucking badass movie.
Best movie, I think.
Yeah, it probably is.
James Wan's best movie.
I mean, it probably is, Yeah. For me, it would be that one or Dead Silence, with Mary Shaw and the dolls. I thought that was very original,
Yeah,
and
he created the Saw. That was very Italian.
Yeah, like, I forgot the director's name, Argento.
I was thinking more Bava. But then again, with the color schemes. You know what I mean? Man. And that layering effect of, folks, we're talking about lighting. But trust me, it's a really important part of horror films.
Oh, yeah.
And, you'd have red in the background, and then there'd be blue in the middle, and it would create like this. It was like 3D without 3D.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. And he does that a little bit in the new one, too. And also,
I heard it's good. I've heard it's fun.
He did the Saw universe, and then he did the Collector universe. And the Collector was supposed to be Saw's origin, but they had to change it for legality reasons. And I like the Collector and the Collection. Those movies were badass. If you haven't seen those,
I haven't seen those.
I like them more than all the Saw movies. And there's just two of them. And
I mean, with Saw, I like the first one.
Yeah.
I watched the second one. I was like, that was all right. And then I rented the third one, and I was like 5-10 minutes into it, and I was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, it's kind of regurgitated a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, why don't I just watch why don't I just go and watch the first one again?
Yeah.
If I want, the whole torture porn thing just got
gets kind of boring for me. To be honest, and I liked his Insidious franchise. I thought those were good. He was making scary PG-13 movies. And then I liked the Conjuring universe that he kicked off, and then I liked Aquaman.
Yeah, those are fun.
Thought it was
fun.
He knows how to do all that shit, and then now he's back with Malignant.
Even like, I mean, there are things I really don't like about Aquaman. For instance, there's an action sequence at the beginning that's completely superfluous. That should have been removed. That'd be a much better movie if you just like cut out like a half an hour. But I mean, every movie's like 2.5 hours these days, so every movie's like that.
Right.
But like the scene with like the deep ones.
Yeah.
Was like genuine Lovecraftian horror.
The trench. He was going to make a movie of those. Yeah. He was going to make a movie. Oh, I heard the new one's going to be really scary. Allegedly, the new Aquaman's supposed to be scarier. But
that'd be great. That shot where I think it's like him and his mother, and they're going up, and like the you could see the deep ones. They're surrounding them, but they can't
that was cool,
get too
dude.
Close, but they're following them. I was just like,
I mean,
hell yeah, man.
If that movie was made like 10 years ago, I think it would have been even. I mean, it was big. It was $1 billion, but I think people would have been talking about it a lot more because it was. I mean, they were doing some shit that we haven't really seen, you know. But Malignant, man, I wasn't really. He in his movies he usually puts in like 3 really cool like sets in the movie, like locations. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so you put that there, and you put that there, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but he straight up made it like a Batman villain movie. That's what Malignant is.
No shit.
Yeah, like you put that in there, and like, were you watching Arkham City, or were you playing Arkham City when you put that? And he said he wants to make a Batman movie too, and I'm like, dude, why the fuck don't they have him do a Batman movie? He'd do at least a good one.
They will. So, I mean, he's got a lot of swagger. He can make that happen.
He was gonna do Castlevania. That was his big thing for the longest time was Castlevania, and it never worked out. Yeah, and he was gonna put metal in there. It was gonna have like a metal score, like yeah, that would have been.
God.
But some people don't like. I talked to a lot of horror people, like horror nerds. They don't like metal in their horror movies and I'm like, I understand what you're saying. It kind of might take you out of the movie. But
it depends on the spirit.
Depends on the movie and the spirit and what they're going for. If what it's about. And my buddy was telling me, that band Cannibal Corpse. He's like, they can make a horror movie just out of their shirts.
Vince
Locke. It could be like 13 Ghosts or something. Like you just get like a Christcow in there to tie it all together. It could be a solid movie, dude.
Well, Vincent Locke, the guy who did all the Cannibal Corpse album covers. Jeez, I'm all mushmouth today. He started out doing Dead World, which was the original zombie comic.
Dude, oh my God, bro!
Yeah.
I read this thing like right when because I never read The Walking Dead when it came out, right? When it came out, and I was just like, ooh, Darabont, and okay, I'm gonna watch the show. You know what I mean? I watched it. This is cool, man. I like this. And then I found out like there's a lot of stuff that was taken from Dead World and put in there. I read a big article like to do with the RV. The dude that had a lady with a katana. Like there was a lot of stuff that was in Dead World, And to me, Dead World seemed like Walking Dead mixed with like Evil Dead. But I was like, wow, this is cool,
Right. Whereas Walking Dead is Brian Kirkman doing Stephen King doing George Romero's zombie universe.
Right. Yeah.
So the series was Frank Darabont doing keep up, people. Frank Darabont doing a Kirkman doing Stephen King doing George Romero's zombies.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and then of course they fucked up because they fired Frank Darabont rather than have like 8 Cash Money episodes. They were like, no, we want like 20.
Dude, that's why I like back to the Evil Dead thing. Keep them 30 minutes and do like maybe 10 of them. You could, dude, and then you could maybe, I don't know. To me, it got really watered down.
Motherfuckers, quality over quantity.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, this is like Star Trek: The Next Generation. We're gonna keep pumping these out. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if you guys should treat it like that. It's already like a crowded genre, the zombie horror genre. That's already like it's already been done before you guys even started the show. You know what I mean? And they're lucky to get there. I think
Quick story. I was at I think I still got my pass here, actually. I was at was it the 2015, 2016 New York Comic-Con? Wait, why am I asking you? You wouldn't know. Let's see. All right. There we go. Oops. Dropping shit all over the place. Okay. But I gotta do this for my own satisfaction. And maybe we'll even have some time to talk about spookies. But you can see...
Ooh, nice.
That's a Walking Dead pass because it was all about The Walking Dead that year, right? And so I'm at the convention, and I'm walking around, and I walk right past Frank Darabont.
Oh, wow.
Now, nobody knows what Frank Darabont looks like, but I do because I watched John Carpenter's Vampires with the commentary.
Mm.
And the guy that James Woods holds up and, like, carjacks at the gas station, that's Frank Darabont.
Oh, okay.
And John Carpenter said, like, yeah, I gave him a cameo because we've been, like, tight, like, forever. And he keeps wanting to give me a cameo, but I'll only do it if either I'm killing somebody or making love to a beautiful woman. Anyway, that year, I mean, this was like, you know, a leap of faith. I jumped in this was my first convention. That's why I still have this. It was my first convention. Jumped in at the deep end, and we sold like 350 comics. We sold out of comics the second day.
Damn, dude, that's awesome.
And we were just
was it
like
Six Gun or what?
Six Gun. The first 2 issues of Six Gun.
God
and it
damn.
was me and Adrian and our cover artist, and so it was the 3 of us. Yeah. And we were all there signing books and selling books, like, and our table was crowded.
Yeah,
the whole time. And all the other tables were like, it was like a wasteland. Now I'd like to say it's because Six Gun Gorilla was so dope. Everybody had to like hang out at our table, right? And we were the coolest, the flyest guys. We weren't charging for a freaking autographs. People were surprised. They were just like, so it's like $5 for a book? It's signed by you all, and that's it? I'm like, yeah. Who am I to be charging you for my autograph? And that's one thing I'll never do. Even if I became like the most famous dude, I would never, ever, ever charge for my damn autograph. I don't care who you are. But all the other books in Independence Alley that year were zombie books.
Oh, wow, really? That's
every single one.
Wow.
I mean, I'm exaggerating slightly, I'm sure. There had to have been one that was like anime inspired or something like that, but yeah, like you were saying, it was just like boom, like a glut. And I love zombies.
Zombie Alley.
Dude, yeah, yeah, exactly, but like whack ass Zombie Alley.
Oh,
right?
Man.
And it's so weird seeing the weird shit that you were into when you were a kid that you caught hell for. My nickname when I was a kid was Zombie Man. Right? I don't know. I wasn't a man. I was like 12 years old. But you know how 12, 13-year-olds are. They think they're already adults, right?
Yeah.
And it's so weird seeing the shit suddenly just, boom, go mainstream. Yo, Ollie's in here. Ollie, get your ass in here. I sent the fucking link, dude. I'm going to have to start browbeating these MFers. Think they can fuck with my time? Because I wanted to keep this to like 5 minutes to an hour, but whatever. And this is the first one we're doing. I intend on doing a whole bunch of these. Because this is just going to be like a regular, like, fun chill stream. Here, I'll put the link in the chat. Actually, let me see if I can. Yeah, sorry, folks. I'm still figuring out Streamlabs or StreamYards. But yes. Anyway, spookies. Oh God, where do we start with this? I guess we should start with the video box cover. Let me see. The video box cover art is right.
You know what's crazy? When the movie started up and it went into the title sequence, it kind of like had the Goonies feel to it. It kind of zoomed in like on the Goonies skull, you know, but it was spooky.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, keep in mind the reason why it's called Spookies is because Gremlins had come out and there were like 1,000 ripoffs. There was Critters, which was good,
right? And
then there was Ghoulies.
And
Munchies, and I think Crunchies, and that was just hobgoblins, elves, but you know,
Troll.
a lot of movies ending in IES too, and so that's why I went with Spookies. But here's the really messed up thing. I'm glad that you didn't learn anything about this movie before you went in, did you?
No, I know nothing of it. I just went in and watched it.
Perfect. If I tell you that movie is actually 2 separate movies that were cobbled together to make one, would that explain a lot?
Yeah, it
does. Yeah, because that's exactly what happened. There was this guy who was those of you that don't know, in England there was this whole video nasties scare, which is to say it was a little bit of a moral hysteria over horror movies, specifically the nasty kind.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I've always envied my UK horror brethren because they were watching the same shit we were watching, except in many cases they were actually breaking the law.
Right.
Which is badass.
Yeah, that's pretty metal.
Oh, totally metal, right? And this was a guy who made a lot of money off of that moral panic and was like distributing movies, made a fortune, was like, I think I'll make my own movie. He hired a bunch of people in America, in New York, in Rye, actually, up in Westchester, to shoot a movie at a mansion that actually belonged to one of the founding fathers. I forget which one. But I think he wrote the Federalist Papers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the house had fallen into disrepair because whoever owned it didn't want it anymore and was just like left the doors open, the windows open, wanted it to fall apart and get condemned. So she could just bulldoze the whole thing and put up like a strip mall or something.
Oh, wow.
And the local historical society was pissed off about this. And this guy was like, we could shoot there for cheap. But they also needed to live in the house while they were making it. So they came in and they fixed all the plumbing and like got the electricity going and actually began the restoration of that house. And now that house is fully restored. And that restoration, part of the history of the restoration of that landmark, of that cultural historical landmark, is Spookies.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
Isn't that fucked up?
That's crazy. Like when I was watching it from the first time, that the intro, they had this like crazy like scene where like the coffin was moving in and out like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's some pretty cool effects for that. You know what I mean? See, there's a little gremlin in there, huh? Like a little creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Sorta. Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, we'll get into the monsters, Jesus, because this movie is chock a block with monsters. So if you're like a monster guy like me, now here's the video box. If you were in a mom and pop video store in the 1980s, there's no way you didn't see this looking down at you, right? And you may have grabbed it, you may have rented it. I took a look at the box and flipped it over and was like, nope. And it went right back on there. Winner, 1986 Delirium Award. I didn't even know about that. There's such a thing as the Delirium Awards? Well, it's a movie that'll leave you delirious, all right. I mean, I personally think, like, in a good way. I mean, you would say you had fun watching this, right?
Oh yeah, I definitely recommend it. I mean, it's a little schlocky, obviously, and a little cheesy, a low budget, but I mean, it's got its values. You know what I mean? It's got a ton of monsters in there. A lot of the effects are pretty fun. Some of the transformation scenes, and it seems like they just put in a lot of stuff that was kind of popular in the late 70s and early 80s and cooked it up into a movie. Like Phantasm. The guy in there kind of reminded me of like Mr. Burns meets the tall man voiced by the priest from The Princess Bride,
Yes. And okay, let me break it down for you. All right, first of all, people who are watching this if you haven't seen this, they're gonna think that we're completely bonkers because we're gonna be talking about farting muckmen.
Yeah, right.
A hook-handed pirate gypsy werecat.
Right.
A slimy Octoman with an exposed red glowing beating heart who has tentacles that he uses to melt people's faces.
That's Predator right there.
and an Asian Spider-Woman. There's a Grim Reaper statue that comes to life with like glowing red eyes. Yeah. There are these, my favorite, the reptile monster puppets that kind of look like they came out of Goonies or like some kind of a Gremlins ripoff. I mean, the mark of a bad movie is if it's boring. Spookies is a lot of things. It's never boring.
Nah, and then there was like that constant like tension between like the slightly older gentleman in the movie and then the younger like kind of 80s Fonzie dude, the other, you know. And they had a little fight, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, these fools are getting down. And then the fool with the Fonzie guy with the zippers, he's always breaking chairs over shit.
This dude right here. Yeah, the dude second from the right.
Yeah, the guy with the puppet on the left, right? He was funny too, man. He had some good, comic relief in there. But you got to know that. If you know that going into that, a lot of these movies we'll watch, we're probably going to know this, right? Going into them, you know. Then you kind of just let yourself go and you have fun, you know. But I thought, even you could have even been scared watching this. Like I would have, if I was at the right age, I had some scary, even like I said, they put a lot of stuff in there. Like I even had like a Linda Blair moment, with one of the characters, Linda Blair / Evil Dead feel, with the Ouija board.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was thinking at one point, boy, this would be like a perfect horror movie for like little kids.
Yeah.
But if they're too little, I could see how this would traumatize them.
Yeah, it was scary as fuck, dude. Some of the spots if you're too young, and especially like that part where the werecat pirate gypsy handicap dude, when he like gets the kid, that was fucked up.
Kid alive.
That was fucked up. He's like, and the kid's like, no, and he's just like burying him.
I
was like,
dude, him in a hole and like real quick,
like quick, like fucks him up, and like, damn, that's fucked up from the get. And the movie just started, And I was watching it with my wife, and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. And she's like, yeah, it's it's pretty good, And I thought it was fun.
That's good. That's great. Yeah. And folks, there's a link down below. There should be a link down below where you can watch this movie for free. It's free on YouTube right now, because that's one of the things I want to do about the show is I want all of the movies that we review to be free of charge. Genius. That is to say, none of the movies that we're going to be reviewing are going to be behind a paywall. So you're not going to need Netflix, because that's the thing. You're not going to need Shudder. Because somebody recommended this movie, and I was like, no, we can't do it. It's only on Shudder. And then I was just like, oh, YouTube, because people are like putting like Blu-ray rips up there.
Oh yeah,
and watch them while you can, because some of those are going to get yanked down, and some of them are going to stay up, because some of these movies are public domain, and a lot of them aren't. But here we have our cast, and this was the movie that they originally shot. It was with these characters. All the scenes with these characters, that was the original movie. Evidently, the producer was the British dude who had made the fortune off the video nasties, was micromanaging like an MFer, was just like a pain in the ass. He and like the director, the writer were just like constantly at odds. They had finished 90% of the movie, and then he was like, "You're fired."
Oh man!
And then he brought in somebody else, a lady who was a adult film, like an adult film director, had been an adult film actress, had moved behind the camera, and hired her to shoot the second movie. That footage, that's all the stuff with. Let's see here. Let me bring these characters up, because they are nothing if not memorable. There we go. Wait, it's not showing. Wait, here, let me close that. And let me see. You already know who I'm talking about, but
I think I do. but I'm not 100% sure.
It's the pirate guy. It's the werecat pirate.
Because they're just in one scene through the whole movie, like shot in one scene. So it would have to be them. But
pretty much, right?
Yeah, pretty much like in a crypt or something like that. Because you never really know where he's at exactly in the house.
No.
You know, is he in the attic? Is he in the mausoleum somewhere out back? Is he in the crypt down below? Is he in the, you know what I mean?
Right.
You don't really know where he's at.
I was thinking the crypt probably, because we also see this. The movie opens and ends with this breathing tombstone.
Yeah.
Right, or not a tombstone. It's like a crypt
coffin.
Stone.
It's a coffin.
Right. Well, it's like a stone slab. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in an actual cemetery, to be honest. And yeah, what can I say? I'm a guy who spent a lot of time hanging out in cemeteries when I was a kid, reading my comic books and eating beef jerky from the 5 and dime store, and you know, and I was a goth in the '90s, so definitely a cemetery connoisseur. But yeah, this was the stuff that the second director shot. So whenever you're seeing Catboy here, Cat Gypsy Pirate Wereboy, yeah. That's a separate movie. That was, you know, and you'll notice if you're watching the movie, it's like cutting a shot to him. He's always lurking.
Yeah, that right? Dude's always lurking everywhere into the whole house, you know.
Right? He's always like doing this. He's kind of like creeping across the walls, like Conrad Veidt in Counter of Dr. Caligari at one point. And yeah, that was the other stuff. That was the other stuff. And then there's this pretty cute looking chick too. She kind of looks like a blonde Winona Ryder when she's in her coffin.
Yeah, and they didn't really like give the backstory on her too much. He just kind of has her, and he's trying to. Well, I don't want to. I mean, spoilers. I guess we're going to spoil it a little bit, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, so he's just trying to like resurrect her to be his bride, kind of like Dracula. You know, kind of like Dracula. Yeah. Like he's like a vampire, but I think he reveals to that, you know, werecat dude that he's basically, you know, a sorcerer. He said he's a sorcerer, and they use the word sorcerer.
Yeah, but he looks dead, so that would make him like a lich.
Yeah, or a ghoul or something. But he's still, and you know, like he looks like Tall Man. Like I know that they were, you know, watching some Phantasm. You could tell what they were watching at the time, and they put it in there. But the thing is, if you were to give someone like a couple $1 million and go and remake this shit, it could be probably pretty fun. You know, it also even reminded me a little bit of like Castlevania, how like you have all the monsters, but you're going in a different. It's not a castle, but it's a mansion.
It's almost like a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
In the sense that there are all these different rooms and all these different parts of the house that all kind of have their own monster.
Yeah, and that's a cool concept. You know what I mean? Like it's fun. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh wow, this is pretty fun. It's very like Halloween-y, you know. And I also thought the end with the very end with the zombies, I thought that was probably something else that they shot. You know what I mean? Because to me that was just like, oh, this is Tom Savini's, you know, remake of Night of the Living Dead. That's what it kind of. I mean, didn't look as good, but I mean, kind of reminded me of that a little bit, you know?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. As a matter of fact, a lot of the zombies in that were zombies in, I think, Day of the Dead.
See?
They'd already been in, they'd made that casting call. I remember I was too young. God damn it. And my older brother wouldn't drive me. I was like, dude, we could be zombies in Day of the Dead.
That werecat too, man. He was a shapeshifter too, I guess, right?
Well, he kind of like, well, yeah. I mean, that's the surprise,
right? It is, right?
But yeah, he can make himself. He is a werecat in the sense that he can definitely make himself look
human.
But evidently, that's a facade.
Yeah, right.
For the burying kids alive, hook-handed gypsy pirate dude that he is. I mean, I don't know where you find one of those, but I know.
Yeah, that's crazy. He baked one up or something. That's what I was thinking. Like if it was taking that Tall Man influence, that guy just pulls shit from different dimensions. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how they can.
Yep.
Oh, the fucking house, it's a gateway to different dimensions. But the thing is
Yep.
too, like, I don't know, like it. So like the lady that was possessed, kind of like Linda Blair, she's reading that customized Ouija board through the movie, and towards the end of the movie, her skull starts opening up and this light starts shooting out, and you don't really, and she's aging the last two or three characters, but you don't really see what happens to them. You don't know what their demise is. You can kind of see they like lay down, but did they die? They kind of kept it open, I think, for a sequel or something like that. I think that's what they were doing. And then homeboy, old man or whatever, the gentleman dude,
Yeah,
it was weird too because there was a lot of like younger like college kids, and there's just like an older dude with his like older kid. He's all posted up in there like, I'm gonna fuck you up, dude. Like telling the Fonzie guy like, you better watch your tongue, young man, and shit like that, And they get in that fight, beating the fuck out of each other. They're moving fast.
It's baffling. It
was funny, dude. That fight was funny, and the old man runs and he jumps through a fucking door, like jumps through a wooden door.
Yeah, it's like, he fucking suddenly turns into fucking like Chow Yun Fat or fucking Jet Li or one of these dudes.
Yeah, dude.
Action man.
And the homeboy Fonzie, dude, he picks up the fucking chair and he just starts smashing another chair. There's a lock on the door. I gotta get through the door. He fucking starts hitting the chair on the lock. Oh man, that was funny. Yeah.
What can I say? It's a genuinely fun movie.
Yeah.
People should definitely check it out. That's why I'm having problems opening things. It's because they're WebP files, and I can only open JPEGs, evidently. Well, let's take a look at the farting zombie muckman. Yeah, they're not really zombies. They're
like golems, huh?
Like like swamp critters or some shit.
Yeah. And what I liked about them was how fast they were moving. You know what I mean? And they were moving like really fast and aggressively,
Yeah, they were pissed.
And they're like, oh, like I was like, damn, dude, these fools are moving quick. They come out all slow. Oh, and then they just fast, big dudes too, And I was like, I always like seeing like, that's what I liked about Return of the Living Dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was the fast. They were more like ghoulie zombies, and they're just running around really fast and aggressive, and like you can't get away from those guys,
Oh no! Return of the Living Dead zombies, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
Yeah, because like you chop them up into pieces, and the pieces are moving around, so you're screwed. You burn them up. That just creates more zombies. You're just
That movie's the best, dude. That's my favorite.
Oh, dude. Yeah, man. I have a special place, very loving place in my heart for that movie. I went to see that. That was back in my punk rock days. Went with a bunch of punks. One of my friends had like a mohawk up to here. Yes, I'm going past the camera, I know. And he made sure he was, these are people that like looked scary but are like marshmallows inside. He was just right, just like people are just like, oh my god, this guy's gonna, he's so scary, and he's just like, am I sitting like in a proper place? Like I'm not blocking the screen with my mohawk. I'll consider it, right? But yeah, man, absolutely love that one too. Okay, now it's not letting me share screens anymore. That's interesting. Okay, well, whatever. But yeah, they're the Muckmen. There's the chick that gets possessed, because all this starts because of the Ouija board.
Yeah.
Right? And she gets possessed, and the makeup on her is pretty good. Clearly Evil Dead inspired.
Yeah, definitely Evil Dead. Absolutely. And I thought a little bit of Linda Blair, a little Exorcist, not too much, but Exorcist kind of came before Evil Dead a little bit, right? By 2 years or something.
Oh no! Exorcist is 75,
and then Evil Dead 79, right? I think it is, dude, because they were working on that for 3 years.
Yeah, you're right.
They were filming it in high school and college and all over the place.
Yeah, it was almost like a student film project. Interesting thing about Evil Dead, the only reason Sam Raimi has the career that he has, that Bruce Campbell has had the career that he has, that what was that?
Stephen King?
Yeah. No, it was because of Stephen King. Mm-hmm. Because Stephen King went to the Cannes Film Festival because I guess they were showing one of the movies based on one of his books. I don't know which one it was, but I think maybe it was Christine or something like that. But he went to the Cannes Film Festival, and he needless to say, being the horror guy, he's like me. You go to the multiplex, and you've got like all these mainstream movies, and then you've got Leprechaun. I know which movie I'm going to see. I'm going to see I Want Me Gold, even if it's shit. I'd rather watch a shit horror movie than like an okay, like, mainstream Hollywood tentpole.
For me, like, not to be a dick, but like, say like there's like a YouTube show on, say my kids, I'm like, can you put on something with like a production value? Like just anything, like a movie with like something that's scripted. Like I can't, I just got to see something. I mean, a horror movie, obviously, like that took some blood, sweat, and tears into it most of the time, even if it sucks. You know what I mean? Somebody had to make the makeup and the blood and the gore, and
exactly.
And that they went out there and they strapped on their boots and they had to make it a lot of the times, even if it's no one ever sees it.
And they and they busted their asses. So
yeah,
Stephen King sees this thing, it blows his mind, and then he finds out it didn't get a distributor. Nobody wanted Evil Dead. Golan and Globus didn't want Evil Dead. Okay, all these like distributors that were putting out some pretty bad, funky shit.
Yeah,
didn't want Evil Dead.
Yeah,
and so what Stephen King did was he went and he wrote an article for Twilight Zone magazine, which I was a big reader of. And because it wasn't just about the Twilight Zone, it had like great short fiction, movie reviews. It was just a great magazine, right? So I would always get that in addition to like Starlog and Fangoria and Cinema Fantastique when I could afford it, and Starburst, which came from across the pond. And there was an article in there by Stephen King. And he said it's the most ferociously original horror movie I've seen in years, right? Yeah. And he just writes this big article about how awesome it is, and at the very end, he's just like, so as of this writing, I've checked with the filmmakers, they still don't have a distributor for this. Any takers? 2 or 3 months later, I'm going to the movies. It's not a multiplex. It was one of those theaters that was like that was like one theater and they chopped it into two. And one of the screens was showing Evil Dead. Above the title, in quotation marks, the most ferociously original horror movie, Stephen King. So this is why we love Stephen King. This is one of the reasons why we love Stephen King, and I've never heard a bad thing about that guy. Everybody I know that's ever met him says that he's just like a dude, like super humble, and super grateful. But anyway, so what else have we? Oh, dude, we got the there's the tentacle monster with the exposed heart that melts this chick's face.
Yeah. Like acidic.
When her face melts, it's stop motion.
Yeah, like Evil Dead.
Like Evil Dead.
Yep.
But it's like when you see it, you're just like, oh, there's stop motion in this?
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
It's awesome.
And the thing about stop motion is, like, as humans, we know that when something is fake, and we cannot control that. That's a primal instinct. That our human eye knows that. So even that cheap little trick is going to be, our eye is going to love it more than probably a CGI, Hulk or something.
I think so too.
Unfortunately,
I think so.
In the back of your brain, you're just going to be like, "Ooh, that was real," but because it was real, it happened. That happened right there.
Exactly. Ray Harryhausen used to say this. He said the difference between stop motion, and I hope you all know who Ray Harryhausen is. He's the stop motion animator who was behind Mighty Joe Young, Jason and the Argonauts, the original Clash of the Titans, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Didn't he do a bunch of Corman? Didn't he do a bunch of Corman movies, right?
No.
He didn't.
No. Corman couldn't have. Roger Corman wasn't going to spend the money for Ray Harryhausen. Are you shitting me? He was a tightwad, man.
I thought he did towards the end.
No. No, because his last movie was Clash of the Titans, and then he was like,
"That was it, huh?
I'm done, son. I'm retiring." And people were like, "Why?" And he was like, Because I've been busting my ass for like 50 years. I want to be a playboy.
Right?
Right?
Seriously.
So he spent the rest of his life just, enjoying the fruits of his labor. He was given an honorary Academy Award from his childhood friend, Ray Bradbury. But anyway, yeah, what he said was that stop motion looks and practical effects, they look more like the real thing because they are the real thing.
It's
That's
happening.
to say they actually take up space.
And volume and weight and shadows and lighting.
And weight. And of course, the lighting, the way that the light hits it. And my friends accuse me of being like stridently anti-CGI. I'm not anti-CGI. I just think it's best when you don't see it.
Oh yeah, it's best when you don't see it.
Notice it.
Or you trick it. You know what I mean? Like Guillermo del Toro did with Hellboy's tail. You know what I mean? Half the time he would use a real one, a robotic tail, and then half the time he'd use a CGI tail. And he's like, oh, I do that. Sometimes I'll make it a CGI when I don't need to. I do that just to trick the audience so they don't know what's happening. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty smart.
Guillermo's the master at that.
Yeah, definitely.
Combining practical effects with CGI effects.
Yeah.
Right? So he'll have like this creature with, anybody that hasn't seen Hellboy 2,
right?
The way I describe it is that it's Pizza Hut used to have this thing. It's called a meat lover's pizza. Hellboy 2 is a monster lover's pizza with extra monster.
Right.
Right? The troll market.
Yeah, that movie is pretty cool, man. And he did a Troll Hunters TV show, and it has like a lot of the same. It has the troll market in it. And it's like
really?
It's all Arthurian. It's on Netflix, but it was pretty cool. But sorry. Back to
stuff out there. I can't keep up with it.
Spookies. Oh, did you talk about the arachnid lady?
Oh yes, the Spider Woman. The Spider Woman. Yeah. Let me see if I can bring up a picture of her.
And I think that was like some of the best part, like the effects in the movie. Personally, like the whole transformation scene. They did they spent some coin on that.
Or, not a lot of coin, just a lot of style and just ass busting and creativity. Because isn't that the impression that you got from this? Was that the guy who did the effects was like really talented, but he didn't have a lot to work with?
Absolutely.
Not a lot of time, not a lot of money.
Wonder who it was. Something to look into.
I should look him up on the Internet Movie Database, actually, now, since it's not letting me show a picture of the Spider Lady. But yeah, the Spider Lady's really, really impressive. She catches a ventriloquist puppet dude and literally sucks him dry. Yes, the comic relief.
That was funny, dude. She sucked the funny out of the movie, right?
And you know what's... And the most cold-blooded is the fact that his puppet doesn't lift a finger to fucking help or save.
They didn't flash over to the puppet either, huh? That would have been funny if they did. You know what I mean?
Would have been great.
Even if it was on the ground, and you just saw the puppet. There was one funny scene in the movie. There's like this creepy weirdo out smoking a cigarette, and he bugs that kid for like a light or something for the Zippo.
Yes.
When the freaking the werecat dude runs up, he just like hits him, and the guy just like falls over into the camera. It's just funny, dude.
Yes.
It was so funny.
Oh, it's hysterical. It's hysterical. Yeah, and then suddenly you see his body go.
The music.
Oh yeah, okay. The original title for the movie, the one that they shot 90% of, was Twisted Souls.
That kind of fits it a little, maybe. It kind of fits it, dude.
Yeah, it does. And like I said,
oh sorry.
No, it's okay. Like I said, like the whole Spookies name was to cash in, I think, on the Gremlins ripoffs.
Definitely has like a more like kid friendly thing, kind of like it sounds like a cereal or something. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that too.
Very marketable, I guess. But Twisted Souls, like to me, it kind of had like a 13 Ghosts feel too, as well too. You know what I mean? A house with a bunch of monsters.
Yeah.
But 80s.
Yeah, like the original 13 Ghosts. Yeah. Or are you talking about the remake? The remake's good, actually.
I haven't even seen the original. I've only seen the remake. The one with Tony Shalhoub, right? That's what we talked.
Yeah.
That's the remake.
I like that actually.
I like that shit.
It was really good. The originals we're seeing. The originals we're seeing too. It's
I'm gonna check that out.
That is a straight up kids movie.
Oh, really?
Straight up kids movie. Yeah, straight up kids movie. Yeah.
Wow.
And when you'd go, it had this effect called emergo, which was there was a box that would open up at the top. This is William Castle we're talking about here, who was like, the P.T. Barnum of horror. It was like a box that would open up, and there'd be like a ghost on a line, and it would go ooh, over the heads of the audience, ooh, and then go back into the box. And there were and the glasses. When you went in, you would get glasses, and it would tell you when there was a ghost on the screen. You'd put on the glasses, and you could see the ghosts.
Oh, that's cool.
But if you just watch the movie itself, you can see the ghosts. You don't need the special glasses. But that's how that was worked into the plot for the remake. Because the guy who wrote that, because the guy who wrote that, I know him a little bit, is like hella like into like old horror movies. Yeah. And worked for Romero, and at one point was going to do was tapped to write a Bub spin-off movie. They were going to do a spin-off movie for Bub from Day of the Dead.
Oh.
I asked him, like, dude, can I see that treatment? And he was just like, nah, NDAs and all that sort of thing, but I'm just going to leave this right over here. Like, yoink.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah. But anyway, let's see. What did we miss? What haven't we covered? We covered the Spider. Oh, the Grim Reaper statue that comes to life.
Oh yeah,
that was really cool too.
Yeah, he was swinging, and it seems like a lot of the people, because I look at when they do their own stunts. You go back and look at a lot of these older movies. You know what I mean? A lot of the actors would do their own stunts, and a lot of the monsters and characters in this movie, they were swinging hard. Like the Muckman, I think the Grim Reaper statue, he was swinging that thing pretty hard.
Yes.
And and the guys when they're fighting, I mean, there wasn't really the like the punching and stuff, but I was like thinking like, damn, because when you get in a real fight, it's quiet. You don't hear the thump. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was actually thinking about that when old boy and Fonzie were fighting each other. And
yeah,
well, it was cool.
Good actors aren't afraid. Well, I mean, you get different kinds of actors when you're a filmmaker, whether you're a amateur like me or even in a mainstream Hollywood. You get people who are punk ass bitches, and you get people that are like okay, and then you get the troopers, and the troopers are the people that will like they don't care if they get bruised.
Yeah, no, I think I think it's cool. It just depends on the movie, you know what I mean? Like if you're doing a horror movie, you got to get in there and you got to probably break some shit and like be ready, you know what I mean? But if you're like, if you're Christian Bale and you got a movie and like you probably need a stuntman, so like if something happens to you, like they got to probably have.
Because then, or if you're like Jackie Chan, you break your foot, we can't stop filming. So they just put like a sock painted like a sneaker over his cast.
I remember that shit. Was that Rumble in the Bronx, I think?
Rumble in the Bronx. Get your ass back out there.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, but I mean, that's Jackie Chan. I mean, you could chop off one of his arms and you'd be like, just a flesh wound. No stopping that dude. That dude's indestructible.
You know what's funny about that Grim Reaper scene, dude? Fucking old man, he threw that motherfucker off the roof and it just exploded. Remember that?
Oh,
like,
yes!
Boom!
Yeah. Boom! And it's a big-ass explosion, too. Dude. It's not like a puff of smoke.
No, dude.
You can tell they went out to, like, a nice stretch of land.
Yeah, on the cut.
Right? On the cut.
Yeah.
And blew something up. And
I was like,
whatever it is they blew up, it blew up really good.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
It was anywhere near the house.
Like, I had a beer. I was sipping one of those Old Chubb Scotch ales, the wee heavy ones. And I'm just like, if you're smoking some bud or something watching this movie, dude, it's with the munchies, you're definitely gonna have a fun time watching it.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? It's that type of movie,
Yes. And that's a funny thing about these types of movies is I'm always reluctant to call them bad. And I can't stand it when people say, "Oh, it's so bad, it's good." No, I think movies that are so bad they're good are actually kind of good.
Because you got the word good in there already. You kind of fucked up when you said that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You kind of committed to the goodness of it.
It's because the question is it entertaining?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
The worst thing a movie, especially a horror movie, can do is be boring.
Right.
And Spookies does a lot of things, but it's not boring.
Yeah, I've seen like a million movies like worse than Spookies, probably with bigger budgets, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, because this thing's just throwing shit at you.
Yeah. It's like a comic. Dude, it's like a comic book, bro. It's like something I would write. I mean, sorry. It's not like my book, but it's something where you throw a lot of shit in there to keep people moving, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, while we're at it, I don't have the intention of of turning the show into a shill stream. That doesn't mean we're not going to still shill some fucking books though. And so, dude, can you try and share your screen maybe, because I'm getting this message that says your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access, then reload the... Yeah, but if I reload the page, then it's going to fucking take me off the air, right?
Yeah.
Streamlabs. I mean, StreamYards, whatever. But dude, tell us about your book. Share your screen if you feel like it.
Sure.
Butch Cleaver 2, bitches.
One moment, sorry.
No worries. We don't mind a little dead air here because at least people get to look at our sexy faces. Speaking of sexy, man, like, where's Ollie? Where is Sim? Where is Preston? Preston's a real sexy mofo. Some people, they're going to be getting a brow beating from me. No, it's all good. This is a stream I would very much want it to be a come as you are stream, which is to say nobody that's in this club is going to feel like they're obliged to watch like whatever movie it is we're watching or show up, or although it actually would be fun sometimes to even have people that haven't seen the movie just to hear us like talking about it, at least something like Spookies. Because seriously, if somebody told you about this, you'd think that they were that they had been taking the brown acid from Woodstock or something and made the whole shit up.
Oh, for sure, man. They just cooked it all up. It's kind of what I'm doing with Butch Cleaver. It's about this butcher that gets killed and he's brought back to life by a voodoo curse, and that curse gives him the power to weaponize bone by he can
molecular level.
Yeah. So in this book, basically, he's coming back, and we're gonna go into his origin. That right there is a voodoo doll. That's the guy that puts the curse on Butch Cleaver and his boss Whitey Ratatouille. And Butch basically is trying to figure out who murdered him in the first book. It was the same quest, and that's the overall like arching theme of this book and the next one. He's going to be looking, and he's going to be encountering some bounty hunters and some crazy cops, and they're talking about zombies. There's some zombie voodoo dolls right there. He's going to have to cut down in this book.
Nice.
About 75% finished with the book, and we're going to go into his origin too, and you're going to find out what made Butch the way he is, and the psycho killer. And if you guys are into horror movies and all kinds of stuff like that, and westerns and period dramas and things of that nature, you might dig this book.
There's definitely some Gangs of New York.
Definitely some Gangs of New York in there. Absolutely. There's a Preston card right there everybody gets.
Oh, man.
Lots of cards.
Preston's amazing, man. I loved it. Oh, God. Dude, Homeboy's just leveling up.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of people leveling up. I've seen you level up. Freaking Peter Gilmore, man.
Dude. Jesus. Sick, man. Yeah.
Sick.
But that's
super
pretty
exciting.
Much. Thanks for letting me show that. That's pretty much it.
Everybody, go check out Butch Cleaver 2. Go back it too. That's right. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. Go back that shit. I backed it. I can't wait to read it because I messed up. I didn't back Butch Cleaver 1, and because I'm one of those dorks that I've learned to stop doing this. Never click the follow button, because it'll make you think you backed books that you didn't. Like when everybody was getting their Monster MD, I like DM Fawn, and I'm just like, "Where's my book, bitch?" And he's just like, "It would have helped if you backed it." Shit. Right? Because you get the updates, and that's what fucks you up.
Yeah, and you think you backed it,
right? But yes, just because the campaign's Butch Cleaver 2 doesn't mean you can't get Butch Cleaver 1 as well.
Oh heck yeah, man! Thank you for doing that, and I can't wait for the Six Gun Gorilla, man. Cemetery of without crosses.
Cemetery without crosses.
Yeah, and the art in there is next level. Like I love the way Preston's doing the pencils. You guys are coloring right over there. It just has a really gritty look to it. You know what I mean? And very inspiring just to see Preston's work on this. I mean, I love his work, and he's one of my favorite artists. But just to see his what you guys are doing with it, you know what I mean? It fits it really perfectly. It's very gritty. It reminds me of Eric Powell, where he was talking about using the pencil, you know, and he says it's just
for inking.
Yeah, and then he uses a black color pencil too for a lot of the stuff, you know, and it just makes it very gritty.
That's what I wanted, you know. That's what I wanted, because I like seeing pencil lines.
Me too.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with like a very clean style, like a George Perez or somebody like that. That shit's awesome too. Don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah.
But I like to see art that reminds you that it's an illustration.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Where you could
Absolutely.
see the human hand.
Yeah, you could see the process a little bit too. You know.
Yes.
And it works well for Westerns, I think, period pieces, and for horror, it does especially well.
Yes, and this is an issue that is, you know, not horror, but there's a moment in it that's pretty horrifying. Like when you find out when you find out what the Cemetery Without Crosses is, it's gonna fuck you up.
Dude, that name's so metal, bro. That could be like a metal album, man, or even a band name.
Yeah, I thought of it all on my own. No, it's stolen. It's stolen from, because every chapter of Six Gun Gorilla, the titles are all taken from old Italian westerns. And that was one, Cemetery Without Crosses. It was actually written by Dario Argento.
Oh wow! So there you go, man. It's already horror enough.
Yeah.
From the get.
Most definitely. Anyway, we're past an hour. I'm gonna let you go, Matt. I'm gonna let you go, people. I don't know what we're gonna be watching next week, but stay tuned. Click the subscribe button and like the notification bell. You got to do that too, and tell all your friends. And I'm not sure what we're gonna do next time. We'll discuss it in the chat. Well, first I'm gonna go to the chat group and give everybody the finger, and and we'll figure something out. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. It is greatly appreciated. Go back, Butch Cleaver, support indie comics, dream big, work hard, and like my man Bruce Lee said, play seriously. Peace.